next thing that we are going to do is deal with the ram. And for those of you who are new to the NME, the first thing that you have to do is take off the ram adjuster cap. Once the cap comes off, place it aside. And now we have to pull the ram out of the body. I'd like to do this as fast as possible. I will take good old Allen key and just take it and push out the ram. Now, this actually is very easy to do, and you'll find that once you get to a certain point, the ram will just drop right out. And remember, since this is a metal ram, using something like an Allen key, as long as you're gentle and you don't jam it in there, you're going to be fine. So we have our ram. Now, as you can tell, we have a bit of stuff to clean off here. We have 2 O-rings on the ram that you want to be worried about. On the front, you have a number 6 O-ring, and on the back, you have a number 11 O-ring. Now, many NMEs that come from System X have a urethane O-ring here, and they have a Buno O-ring here. As already talked about with the bolt, if you have a urethane O-ring here, replace the urethane O-ring, the clear O-ring, with a Buno O-ring. As I said, it's a number 6. So the first thing we're going to do is take a rag and clean off any dirt and grime off the ram, as well as any previous lubrication on these O-rings. You can also take this time to look at the O-rings to see if there are any cracks in them, if there are any cuts, any nicks, any problems at all. The lube that you should only be using when you're lubricating your ram is Dow 55, which you can get in many different forms. I've got here a sort of like just a very basic Dow 55, Dow Corning rating of 55. This is generic packaging. If you want to go out and buy official paintball Dow 55 stuff and pay twice as much, it's up to you. So we're going to take a little bit of Dow 55. We're going to take our O-rings and we're going to put a little bit of Dow 55 on both O-rings. What I always recommend doing is after you've covered the O-rings in Dow 55, without adding any more from the tube, just go over it again to make sure that the O-ring is covered in Dow 55 grease. You want it to look wet, but you do not want to put on too much grease. So now that this is lubricated, we can put it back in the NME. And without actually dropping it in, we can just take a look at the O-ring that is on our ram cap adjuster. Now, the O-ring that's on the ram cap is a number 10 O-ring. And so what you can do is you can now take this opportunity, if you want, to clean all the lube off this O-ring and re-lubricate it as well. Now that we have this lubed, we can then take it and screw it into our NME. Now again, one of the great things about this ram cap is that once you're screwed in all the way, you don't have to worry about readjusting your ram. So once it's screwed in all the way and it's tight, finger tight, you're good.